This is Robert Margolacci, the Mindshare Learning Report, Canada's Learning and Technology e-magazine. And welcome to this week in Canadian EdTech special unboxing edition with the Wacom One featuring Dave Bolton from Wacom. Thank you for joining me today, Dave.
Good morning, good afternoon, Robert. Thanks for having me. Nice to see you again.
Pleasure. Hope you and your family are healthy and well and enjoying
We
this.
are, thank you.
Easy. A little bit about Dave is the Director of Sales at Wacom Canada. He brings many years of working in the computer and hardware industry experience. Dave has a passion for both K-12 and higher education that has been instrumental in introducing Canadian educators to Wacom pen tablet and pen display solutions. And he's a graduate of the University of British Columbia. Dave, before we unbox today's featured Wacom digital pen display, can you briefly give us an overview of the Wacom Digital Inc. story and how education is a growing part of that story?
Absolutely, yeah. Wacom, we're entering our 40th year in business. Actually, today is the start of our 40th year. We're
Happy birthday.
Japanese-based. Thank you very much. We're a Japanese-based company whose sole focus is around, it's not really the hardware, it's the pen experience. And through our evolution, we have what are called opaque tablets. Opaque tablets are similar to what we've discussed before, a tablet that just connects via USB to your PC and gives you that surface you can write on with one of our digital pens, all the way up to 32-inch screens that you can write on displays. They're used really in any kind of studio environment, special effects, animation. What the whole story is about is giving that pen on paper feel a digital element. So for us, really the history of Wacom is about that pen. So when an artist picks up a pen, or an office worker like myself picks up that digital pen, it doesn't feel any different than the pen that I was just using on a piece of paper. And that's extremely important because, first of all, it's what people are comfortable with. Second of all, it's usable. In the very early days of pen input, the glass was shiny, gloss glass, hard tip pencil, and it felt artificial. Now we've evolved to the point now where there's something called tooth or drag, which is the friction between the pen tip and the surface. What that does is it actually makes it feel just like you're writing on paper with either a pencil or a pen. So it's really important to keep in mind that no matter what product you buy, if you go with the opaque tablets or if you go with our highest end display, that feel is very natural. And there's no learning curve to actually just picking up the pen and starting to use it. One of the best things for me is seeing 6-year-old, 5-year-old kids. You give them a digital pen, there's zero learning curve. They start to color immediately. They don't realize that what they're doing is digital. Somebody like me who's a little bit older, I would be a more hesitant. Oh, digital, is it really a learning curve? I can tell you honestly, I'm not an artist by any stretch of the imagination. Picking up a digital pen is seamless. There's very little learning curve. As long as you can connect it to your PC, you're off and running. That's the whole Wacom story, is that natural pen feel.
Amazing. Walk us through the Wacom lineup of products for K-12 and in higher education, if you like.
As we discussed last time, we start with our what's called the One by Wacom. And this is a fairly easy tablet to use, $79.95 in Canada. It has it connects with Mac, it connects with Windows, it works with Chromebook certification. Why that's really important, particularly in today's education environment, is a lot of schools are going to Chromebooks. The advantage of official works with Chromebook certification is you can literally plug the tablet in and use it immediately. There's no drivers to load, there's no security issues. So it's a very easy way to bring that digital experience into the classroom. Then you move up our line into slightly larger tablets. Some have shortcut keys, into our professional lineup of opaque tablets, which have, the pen experience is fully customizable. This pen from the Wacom One has a button. On our professional pens, it has 2 buttons. Some of them have 3. Those buttons are fully customizable to do literally anything you want them to do. Change brush size, change even software programs, to launch a browser from the button of the pen if that's what you wish to do. And then we have an our entry level screen display called the Wacom One, which we're talking about today.
Right.
It's a 13.3-inch tablet display.
And that's what the box looks like. It happened to have
exactly.
one right here. Very colorful.
I'll actually share my screen and show you something here, Robert.
Sure.
So this is what the box looks like. You know, it really tells the story of how it connects to your PC. As I mentioned, it's a 13.3-inch display. The advantage is it can give you a secondary display off your Mac or PC or Chromebook. So what that means is all of a sudden you have two screens. The advantage is this one is writable, so you can actually write on it. Some of the features, we don't need to go through all these numbers. Over 4,000 levels of pressure sensitivity. That is just a number. What that means is very natural feel. The harder you press on the screen or the tablet, the thicker the line, just like a real pen. As you back off the pressure, the line gets very thin. There's tilt recognition, so you don't have to hold your pen in a certain position. However is comfortable, it will recognize. And I think the other important thing about Wacom products is the pens are fully battery free. They pick up their power off the tablet or the screen. What that means to a teacher is there's no charging of pens in the classroom. They don't have to worry that they don't have enough pens charged for the kids. You can sit and use a pen all day long, 5 days a week, 7 days a week. Absolutely no maintenance required. Every one of our pens also comes with something called a nib kit. And the nibs are the tip. If you think of a ballpoint pen, it's the ballpoint. Right. Those can be changed. There's different textures. There's different consistencies. As those wear out, very easy to just pull the nib out, put a new nib in, and you're off and running again. And then as we work up our line, we're into the professional grade 24-inch Cintiq Pros, which are the write-on displays, and the 32-inch as well. So we have a product that has the feature set for everybody and the budget for everybody, starting at $79.95 and going up from there.
Brilliant. And without further delay, why don't you take us through right to the Wacom One, today's Spotlight pen display product?
Absolutely. So as you can see on the screen, some of the things I've mentioned, it's a battery-free pen. That is really important, particularly for a teacher in an educational environment. Why I really like this product is, as you can see, it's very thin, it's portable, it can go into a backpack, it can go into a briefcase. So somebody who's working from home or learning from home, it can go back and forth between school and the dining room table or the homework room. What I also like about it is it's a full color display. It's 13.3 inch, so you don't have to squint to use it. And writing on a display is a more immersive experience, where a pen tablet, like the one by Wacom that we were talking about earlier, connects to your PC, you use your computer screen as the display. So there's a little bit of a difference. You're writing on the left or right-hand side of your keyboard, and you're looking on the display. The plug-in display, like a Wacom One and like our Cintiq products, you're actually writing on the screen itself. So it's a more immersive experience. It's for kids who are doing math worksheets, for example, or a teacher who's doing annotation or digital whiteboarding, you're more involved in the process because you're actually writing on the display. You can circle things on the display as opposed to using a tablet. As I mentioned, compatible with Windows, Mac. This one is actually compatible with Android as well. So if somebody doesn't have a PC at home, they can actually plug into an Android phone and use the tablet from that. Because it's a display, it comes with a plug-in power pack, which connects into the wall, obviously. And then you connect all the cables to the PC, and you're off and running. It's full HD resolution, so there's no compromise in what you're looking at. So it's got the fine level of detail if you're doing any kind of photo editing, or if you're doing any kind of coloring projects or math worksheets, everything's nice and crisp and clear. And then the last feature is it comes with built-in legs. I'm not sure if there you
go. That's handy.
So it'll actually give a 19-degree tilt to the product on the table. So you don't have to be right over top of it. It's angled so that, again, it's much easier to use.
Speaking of use, talk to us about use cases in both K-12 and higher ed.
this is what I find really exciting is, realistically 5, 6 years ago, this type of product was in a creative environment. So an animation class or an illustration class or an art class. However, the last 3, 4 years, we've seen a huge shift to this whole world of digital learning. And now all of a sudden, I think you're probably tired of hearing this story, but I have a coworker in Texas who has a daughter in grade 12. And when the pandemic first started, what her teacher was doing was taking worksheets from class, scanning them, turning them into a PDF, emailing them to the students who would then print it, physically write on the sheets, take a picture, turn it back into a PDF or a JPEG, send it back to the teacher who was reprinting them to mark them. A tremendous amount of work to get that worksheet. Now what teachers can do with digital is just send the worksheet, email the worksheet out, have it on their own blog spot, have it on their own website. Students can download it, actually complete the worksheet with the tablet or the screen on the computer, save it, email it back. Also, some of the shifting we've seen is collaboration. So there's collaborative whiteboard software that's included with this product. I can show you in a minute the education focused software. Why that's important is now all of a sudden you can have working groups in a classroom. An entire class can be digital whiteboarding all together. Collaboration has absolutely skyrocketed in the world of business and the world of education over the last 2 to 3 years. What that means is you and I can be working on the exact same project at the same time. I can see what you're writing. You can see what I'm writing. So for the teacher, what this means is now all of a sudden these worksheets, it's a lot easier to manage. It can be all digital. They can keep versions of the worksheet for years and years and years. They don't have to have physical copies. A parent, for example, it's a lot easier for a parent to watch how their student is doing in school without the actual paper worksheets. They can log in, have a look at the digital work that's being done. And in terms of actually teaching in a classroom, I have one more story about my son's pre-calculus teacher. She was using physical worksheets on paper, and then she was using a document camera and a corrected tape, whiteout. And she would physically...
That still exists today?
Apparently it does, yeah. She would fill out the worksheet. Obviously, if she made a mistake, she'd have to white it out. Right. And what she was doing was broadcasting with the document camera up to a screen behind her that the students were watching. She got actually the Wacom one 2.5 years ago. Now all of a sudden it's completely digital. So she can sit at her desk, fill out the same worksheet. It's still broadcasting behind her, but now it's in a digital format, which allows those students who are either home, they're on vacation, or some schools are still going with a hybrid environment or learn from home. Now all of a sudden she can share that physical experience across the classroom and across the internet to whoever wants to log in. So this whole idea that these products were just designed for drawing, that's ancient history. These products can be used in science, technology, education, English, any of the languages, history, anything that you want some interactivity or there's something to show people, these products are ideal.
Amazing. Dave, let's share with our audience the compatibility and security features of the Wacom One.
Absolutely. So as I was mentioning before, Wacom is the only manufacturer that works with Chromebook certification. And why that's really important is there are products that say they work with Chromebook, but they don't have that certification. What that means is the Wacom drivers are embedded in the Chrome OS. That sounds like a lot of technical speak. What that means to the parent at home or to the teacher in the classroom is you literally plug the product in to a Chromebook. It works instantly. There's no IT concerns. Originally, IT administrators were a little bit unsure about how to manage a classroom set of 24 tablets. Each computer would, drivers would change, drivers would update. What works with Chromebook certification means is that a teacher can plug it in. They can get to their job of teaching what they're passionate about instead of doing IT support with, 2 of the tablets don't work. We have to reload drivers. That's not even an issue. Now schools can share a classroom set between different classes. A teacher can walk in, plug them in to the Chromebooks. They work instantly. They're off and running. They're doing what they love to do, which is teach, rather than doing IT and tech support.
That's brilliant. Brilliant. And anything that saves teachers time
Absolutely.
is going to be utilized on a daily basis. Um, what questions are you getting from educators about the use of digital?
I'm really impressed with the range of questions that I get on a daily basis. Some teachers are interested in how to actually move from a physical whiteboard to a digital environment. So our products come with sample subscriptions of digital collaboration like Collabboard, Pear Deck, Limnu. These are
Well,
education focused software that a teacher can use. These products also don't need specific software to run. I know in our company we use Microsoft Teams, which is a free app. Their digital whiteboard is fantastic. I use it all the time. I do annotation in PowerPoint all the time. It's actually reached a point now where I feel uncomfortable not having a pen in my hand when I'm presenting, because it's much more interactive and a much more immersive for you as a viewer to see me circling, okay, this point here, this makes the most sense, highlighting certain passages. So imagine in a classroom environment, as opposed to just showing kids slides, now all of a sudden marking up slides, highlighting certain passages, circling the homework. This is the homework. So there's a greater level of interactivity with digital ink, and that's what the whole point is digital ink is not about the products, it's about the experience.
truly cross curricular in nature. So you've gone beyond the artist design phase and really meeting the needs of all teachers and learners.
Absolutely. It's, you know, I some of the other questions we get are around compatibility. Windows Mac compatible, absolutely.
Mhm.
Chrome works with Chromebook certification, absolutely no problem. Teachers are interested in how do they share documents. Some of this software that we're talking about today that's included that you can see up on the screen, um, it's very easy to use, very intuitive to use. Something as simple as marking up a PDF. You know, Adobe Acrobat, free app to view, very easy to mark up. You can bring those worksheets into a digital whiteboard environment, mark them up so the kids are interacting.
We like to talk about the robustness of tech infused pedagogy, and you as a company, Wacom really embraces that notion, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Education for us is a very, very big focus. I've been with Wacom for over 6.5 years now, and I've even seen a shift in our organization from the digital arts to the everything. And, I know every company says everybody can use our product, but everybody really can use our product. We have law firms that are doing digital markups for contracts. We have English teachers that again are doing worksheets, are connecting the dots for students real time, whether they're at home, whether they're in the classroom being presented to. The big advantage of digital is all of that is captured. All of that can be saved. All of that can then go to a student's digital library. It's a lot easier to manage instead of a 3.5-inch binder for your English class all year. All of a sudden, it's a 10 megabyte PDF file with all your worksheets that are searchable. So, very interesting shift in society's view of digital ink. And I think we're just at the very doorstep of what's possible.
Absolutely. And being within that education ecosystem and the workflow and being seamless is very powerful and compelling.
Absolutely. And like I said at the start, one of the most amazing things for me is putting a pen in the hand of a child. Absolutely no fear. They just start to create immediately.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing experience to watch.
Excellent. Lastly, can you share some of the ways educators throughout Canada are now using the Wacom digital ink devices?
Yeah, absolutely. So, in the past, I've seen schools. In the recent past, we've seen schools buy 2 classroom sets for their school, and one particular school outfits every class with Chromebooks, and they're starting that move to digital in a classroom environment. The advantage is this works with Chromebook certification now means that class set can be shared throughout the entire school. So we're seeing, I keep referencing math worksheets. That's the easiest thing. there's all types of different group projects. There's one high school I can think of that really is focused on the learning as opposed to being in class. So classes are optional for the grade 12 students, but now all of a sudden these team projects, you don't have to be in person anymore. You can get online, you can collaborate, you can annotate, you can mark up documents. So when you go into school the next day, that work is already done. You don't have to be in person to do that. And again, for me, the one of the big advantages is you've got a digital copy with you all the time. As everything moves to the cloud, as schools are moving to the cloud. I know my son's school district, for example, offers every student a subscription to Microsoft Office. You can save things to the cloud.
Amazing.
Now, all of a sudden, you don't have to push things up and pull things down. You can just work remote. You can work in the cloud, and that can follow you everywhere. So really easy. The products are very portable. They can slip into a backpack. They can slip into a briefcase. You can take that learning tool with you back and forth. For me, again, one of the advantages is when a child comes home from school, sets up at the dining room table, it's the same work environment that they had in the classroom, where traditionally it was completely different. They had to unpack all their worksheets. Now they plug in and they're off. They're doing exactly the same work that they were doing 2 hours earlier in the classroom.
Dave, thank you so much for this and sharing and unboxing the Wacom One today.
Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
And if our audience wants to learn more, where could they perhaps go to?
There's 2 sites I would recommend. Wacom.com, Wacom.com. That has obviously a full product catalog. And in Canada, we also have wacomstore.ca.
With that, thank you again, David Bolton, Sales Director at Wacom Canada. My name is Robert Mardlacci, the Mindshare Learning Report. Be sure to check out www.mindshare Learning to get your latest issue. And until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep the learning curve steep.